was just feeling so
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Take 3's live watch-alongs. This week we are doing Iron Man. Captain Marvel is just over a month away, and we are gearing up, starting a little bit of MCU rewatch. I am not alone tonight. I am joined by the lovely Matthew Kearns. Matt, how you doing tonight?
pretty good. It's so funny. I had no clue we were planning to do like a whole MCU thing. But I guess now we're doing that. So that's interesting.
We're probably not, again, we don't have 20 weeks until Captain Marvel. We probably will not be doing the entire MCU, but we will be doing bits and pieces. I think we're going to try to stick mostly to MCU in the next couple weeks, which is what matters.
That's all that matters.
But yeah, surprise. That's the thing that's happening. And we decided to start with the one that started it all, Iron Man, Jon Favreau's Iron Man, 2008. I like this movie. I don't love this movie like some people do, but I like it.
I like the first half of this movie. Yes. And then once he gets out the gate, it kind of just trails downward. And I watched this movie recently, but I'm in the minority of I prefer Iron Man 3 to this one. I think the story in that movie, I think, because for me, the story keeps my interest throughout the whole thing. Whereas with this one, I'm really interested in the beginning. All the stuff in the cave is great. And then once he comes back and he starts doing the superhero thing, I don't care as much. And it's really weird watching this movie post-Avengers. I always found this movie weird because Tony Stark is such, for lack of better terminology, such an asshole in this movie. But then when you see him in Avengers, Robert Downey Jr. has gotten into the role more. He's more comfortable. You actually like him despite him being an asshole. Whereas in this one, it's like, can you be Avengers Tony already? Like, which has made rewatching this movie just not as fun as. I mean, listen, this movie came out in 2008, so I was 11. So I was right up there being like, oh my god, Iron Man's so awesome. This movie's so metal. And then like more movies in the MCU came out, and it was just like, this one's on. Okay. And Robert left the call. So here I am talking to myself. That's chaos theory. Robert didn't like what I had to say about Iron Man, I suppose. Fair enough.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Okay.
You left.
I know, that was an accident. But as long as the stream is still going, that's what matters. I just had a mini heart attack, but we're okay. I am back, and we are about to start this movie. I'm ready to hit play if you are.
Woo, I'm ready to hit play.
All right, let's hit play. We're at the 0-minute mark. We are going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, play. Thank you for stalling while I misclicked and accidentally exited out of the Hangout.
It's okay. That's why Jeff Goldblum exists.
Is that what you were talking about?
No, every single time on any Take 3 video, whenever I end up by myself, I always immediately go, and here I am talking to myself. That's chaos theory.
Got it, yeah.
Every time.
And we get the OG Marvel flip through the logo.
Yep. This was... I think the weird thing is, as a comic booky nerd kid, it's so weird to think, and I know I'm jumping way ahead to the end of the movie, but with like Endgame coming out just a couple months later, we walked. Strange to think that like the post-credit scene of this, like when I saw it as a kid, like as a comic book nerd, like knowing about the Avengers and all of this, it was like, no, they're never gonna be able to make an Avengers movie, like never, because I grew up, and I know you did too. I grew up in like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, Ben Affleck, Daredevil, like Batman Begins, where it was like, it was all contained. It was all like, you didn't mix and match. Like, it was all like, there's a lot of superhero movies, but they're all like to themselves. Like Daredevil doesn't meet up with Spider-Man. So it was
the idea of a connected universe was so lost.
It was like,
it was such a unattainable goal until this movie came out. Which is why I really respect this movie for what it did.
Yeah, like TV it was kind of like you could have more crossovers in TV. You had that sometimes, but movies, it was always just like you never do that because it's so hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I think you don't have to be a fan of the MCU or the DCU, but I think you have to give credit to both of them, and that they're doing hapless work of having to take multiple writers, multiple directors, and trying to figure out how to keep it all in the same universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very incredible how, whether you like this movie or you don't, whether you like the MCU or you don't, whether you like the DCEU, like Man of Steel, BVS, or you don't, what it comes down to is you really have to respect all of the juggling that they're doing, and for better or worse, sometimes they make good movies, sometimes they don't, but you have to really commend everything that is being juggled, and the fact that, like, watchable content is still put out.
Yeah. Again, and as a shocker to maybe first-time viewers, as a DC fan, I even tend to say, like, listen, you can hate BVS and be in the same vein of having to juggle all of these movies and all these storylines and make it coherent to someone watching all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the fact that people bought into it immediately, I would say mostly due to this movie.
And speaking of buying into things, when you really think about where Robert Downey Jr. was when this movie was, he is, when it comes to superhero castings, there's the Michael Keaton's where he gets cast and, he can't be Batman. Like, no one believes it, whatever. Robert Downey Jr., it wasn't that anyone didn't believe he do it in, like, playing the character. It was more just, like, where he was in his personal life. They were like, do you really want to work with this guy? Like, do you want to give this guy a franchise? Like, this party boy? And it just...
Oddly enough, this guy who, the same year as this movie, gets nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, for Tropic Thunder.
For blackface, yeah.
She's so good in that movie.
Yeah,
I love Tropic Thunder. We need to do that as a watch-along.
I agree.
I love that movie. It'll mostly just be me quoting Les Grossman, but honestly... And I don't feel bad saying this, 2008 saved Robert Downey Jr.'s career. Because Tropic Thunder and Iron Man, if he doesn't do both of those movies, he doesn't have a career.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. Yeah.
Tropic Thunder saved a lot of careers. Saved Tom Cruise's career as well.
Cruise, yeah. Ben Stiller to an extent.
Did Ben Stiller direct that?
Yes.
Yeah, it saved his directing career because Zoolander was a culty hit.
I don't think he directed Zoolander.
Yeah, he directed Zoolander.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mr. Fandom Champ over there.
Tropic Thunder and Zoolander aren't in fandom. Yeah, he did. You're absolutely right. My bad. You got me.
Suck it. I just like when I'm right to people who I know are smarter than me in trivia, Rob.
No, I understand.
Now, there's some things, listen, Cody said in our reaction, I believe it, he would never play me in a Star Wars Iron Man match ever.
Never, I wouldn't. I might just because I think it'd be fun, but I know I'd lose.
Oh, Terrence Howard.
Remember when
a recast that I was really, really okay with because Don Cheadle is way better in the role.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's not bad.
No, not at all.
Even from Iron Man 2, I was just like, oh, Don Cheadle just has way more of a his chemistry with Robert Downey Jr. and even Iron Man 2 was just
way better.
Way better. And Terrence Howard is, I think the thing with Terrence Howard is he's such a great actor that Rhodey, I'm trying to, not to say it's beneath him, but he should be like,
he should be doing other roles.
He should be like the main character.
Mm-hmm.
He should, and that's not to say Don Cheadle. I just think Don Cheadle plays the sidekick better than Terrence Howard.
I agree with that, actually. Yeah, I think, this is a recasting I was aggressively okay with. Like, Terrence Howard is good in this movie, but I don't think it was really the right fit.
Because I think especially Iron Man 2 is a completely different movie if Terrence Howard is still
100%. And I, for all the faults of Iron Man 2, the dynamic between Don Cheadle and Robert Downey Jr. works for that movie.
Listen, the thing that doesn't work about that movie is not Downey Jr. or Don Cheadle. It's not.
Not at all. There are other things running amiss.
Downey Jr., Cheadle, and Scarlett Johansson are kind of the good things in that movie.
I agree. The problem with that movie is the villain.
Yeah. And
both of them.
And the problem is that he starts off great, and then he just trails off into being just a run-of-the-mill villain. He has this great storyline of Tony Stark's father screwing his father over and all this, and then it's just like he just wants to take over the world.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah, right. And actually, something that I find interesting that a lot of people... I'm trying to find the right way to say this. A lot of the criticism of, especially Phase 1 of the MCU, but the MCU in general, is the villains. And I think Iron Man really, set the stage for that. That's one of the reasons that I don't like Iron Man, is because, yes, it spawned the MCU, yes, it spawned this incredible interlocking franchise. It also spawned the villain problem. I like Jeff Bridges in this movie, and I like Obadiah Stane as a character, but you cannot deny that the formula of the villain being a more eccentric, basically a carbon copy of the main character. That's what he literally puts on another Iron Man suit. That theme carries out through almost all of the rest of the MCU, particularly in Phase 1.
It does. And I think the problem with early Marvel was there was the crazy notion of having the team-up movie have all the characters established meant in their singular movies you had to spend the time to make sure that all the characters were established. That way, by the time we get to Avengers, we don't have to waste time establishing them. The problem with that is sometimes when you're establishing your hero, the villain suffers in the establishment department.
That's true. Yeah, that's a very good point.
And I personally I like Red Skull. I think out of all Phase 1 villains, he's probably the best.
I agree with that completely.
I think he's probably the best of all of them.
I agree.
I love Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
Big Lebowski is one of my favorite movies.
Hugo Weaving does something really special with that character.
He does what he can with this role. I think Hugo Weaving was given more to do in his movie.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Because really, this movie takes its sweet time developing Tony Stark, which it's supposed to do. That's
which is
job.
Good, but it's also
it's good. But it leaves the villain for the end.
It's also kind of a twist villain. It's also one of those things where it's he's his friend throughout all this, and then nope, he's the villain.
Psych. Yeah.
And it's so funny to think to my favorite MCU movie, which does have a twist villain, but it works so much more because they set up Ego in Guardians 2 to where it's when he reveals what he does, you're like, no, through everything we've seen, that makes total sense because you are pretty eccentric from the minute we meet you. That it's you would put cancer in her brain. It all makes sense.
Yeah, his motivation that's actually Ego. I think is one of the best MCU villains because his motivations are so crystal clear.
That is why Ego, Vulture, and Thanos are my 3 favorite villains because their intentions are clear and it makes sense from the start.
I would put Killmonger in there as well.
Killmonger. Killmonger is also great.
Black Panther is a movie that I don't love very much.
I love Killmonger.
I love Killmonger
in that movie. I think that the movie is very basic.
Yeah.
It's a very basic superhero movie, but Killmonger, what they do with that character is really, really, really fantastic.
Exactly, yeah.
I think this is the lengthiest conversation I've ever had at the MCU, and I'm very happy. This is a fun conversation. So I can bring it. But see, to everyone watching this who likes to sit there and say that I'm a DC shill or something, I watch these movies and I enjoy them. Okay, but Nostalgia Critic, actually, I'm not sure if you watched the stuff. He did a video on this. I would recommend people check it out, where he talks about this, and he talks about how the villains have gotten better. It's so true.
I agree completely.
And it's so crazy to watch this movie and to think that, like, I was 11 when this stuff started, and I'm 21 now. Like, Endgame's gonna probably rip my heart out in the same way Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2 did, to where it's just like, oh, there's another piece of my life growing up with movies that's just gone. Like, I remember Iron Man 2 was the first movie I ever saw without a parent. Me and my friend went on a Friday after school. My mom dropped us off, and we thought we were so cool because we were seeing the new Iron Man movie by ourselves, and it's like so much is connected because it's been going nonstop for the last 10 years.
Yeah, and actually, I didn't start seeing these movies in theaters until 2011 in Thor. That was the first one that I saw in theaters. And that might also be part of the reason that I don't gravitate to the Tony Stark character, is because I didn't really have these moments in the theater like I did with Thor, like I did with Captain America.
I think the first one I saw in the theaters was Iron Man 2. And I have no shame in saying, because I was in 6th grade, so how old did I have to be? I was probably 12 or 13 when that movie came out. I thought it was one of the greatest superhero, mind you, my superhero movie watching had been very small by that point, but I was like, man, it's one of the best. Tony Stark is such a badass. Like, I thought that movie was the shit.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I really think that is part of the reason that I don't love Iron Man and the Tony Stark character. I didn't connect with them. I connected with the other characters first. Had I seen this first, yeah, probably.
Out of Phase 1, I have no shame in saying that Captain America is the best out of Phase 1 Marvel. Or at least it's my favorite. Well, do you count Avengers as Phase 1?
Yes.
Or it's
Avenger.
First Avenger, it's Avengers is the best. Well, I mean, when we're talking about this singular, like, between Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Thor, and Captain America is easily the best.
Of those,
in my opinion. And I don't hate Thor.
I like Thor a lot. I like Thor more than most.
I think if you had a lesser actor than Chris Hemsworth, it would suck, but he brings the character at least to a different level,
or a less director than
Incredible Hulk is definitely the weakest, and I think it's just down to
of the introductory movies.
Incredible Hulk is probably the weakest because I think it's just down to, for whatever reason, movie writers just don't understand how to write the Hulk. Like, comic books, there are so many storylines that are so fascinating. Oh, this shot that was in like every Oscars or every 2008 movie montage clip is just him. I just remember everything, like when the Oscars is doing the like promo that year, it was it's always more so than him in like the suit is him standing with the missiles blown behind him.
Much more.
It was just that was like the shot of the movie.
Yeah. He puts his hands up right here.
Yeah, right here. This was the shot of the movie. That was in like everything. I think even now, if you take people who were like maybe around my age, a little bit older, and you show them that clip, they'll be like, "Oh, that's Iron Man." Or at least if you're like, it's like the shot of Joker sticking his head out of the police car in Dark Knight. Like, there's just those shots that are, or Batman standing by the rubble. Like, those three shots in Dark Knight. Those three shots in 2008 were just like everywhere. I remember. They're everywhere. Because that's what I was doing when I was 11, was watching Iron Man and Dark Knight. And I turned out well, parents. Well, it depends on what you
define all right.
Count as. Yeah, well, I'm working for free on YouTube. I will be right back.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, actually, I like Incredible Hulk more than most. I've said this before multiple times, and I get a little bit of heat for it sometimes. But I think the best action in all of Phase 1 of the MCU, including the Avengers, is in the Incredible Hulk. That final fight scene in Harlem is spectacular. Just absolutely incredible. And I need to plug my laptop in. Or else we'll lose the stream, which is not an ideal thing that we want to happen. All right. So Tony is meeting Yinsen for the first time. Ho Yinsen, played by Sean Tu, of course. Earlier in the movie, I forgot to mention we saw Christine Everhart, played by Leslie Bibb. Jonathan Peck also likes the Harlem scene. I agree. Like I said, I think that's the best action. That scene is the best action scene in all of Phase 1 of the MCU. And
what do you think is the best action scene?
The Harlem fight scene in Incredible Hulk. I think Incredible Hulk has the best action of all of Phase 1 of the MCU, including the Avengers, in my opinion. Because the Harlem fight scene and the fight scene at Culver University are both just absolutely spectacular.
It's good. I'll give it to Avengers. I think if problem with Captain America is it montages for most of its fights, which is something I don't like.
Yep.
I feel like if it didn't montage, it would probably have the best.
I mean, the fight scene on the train is pretty damn good.
But that's what I'm saying is like, to be honest, I haven't seen Incredible Hulk in a very long time. Very, very, very long time. I probably have seen the Ed Norton Hulk more. No, what am I talking about? The Eric Bana Hulk more than I've seen the one from 2009.
See, 2008 actually also was the same year as Iron Man. But I have only seen Eric Bana's Hulk once. I've only seen the Ang Lee Hulk the one time.
You've only seen it's weird.
Yeah, it's experimental.
It's weird.
It's different.
It's different. It's the thing I say to people is I'm like you have to remember it was made in 2003. It was to anyone who watches the MCU and like all this stuff now, you can't really watch The Incredible Hulk and expect to have a super great experience. Mm-hmm. If you're someone like me who grew up around that era, you might be fine if you remember that era. Like I remember the era of the cartoons on Cartoon Network were telling, in many cases, better superhero stories than the movies.
Yeah, absolutely they were.
Again, I mean, not all of them. I think Spider-Man and Daredevil are great from that era. They're director's cut, of course. I think Incredible Hulk, I like Eric Bana, actually. I like him. I
like Eric Bana as Bruce Banner more than I like Ed Norton as Bruce Banner.
Ed Norton okay. I have no problem saying this because it's not like I'm ever going to meet him, nor would everything. I think Edward Norton's kind of a dick. And I think it comes off so much in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just so glad they went with Mark Ruffalo because he's so lovable.
Yeah, he's so likable.
So likable. Which is so crazy when you see Spotlight.
Yeah, he's
so radically
actor.
Different, and he's so. I always say, listen, Mark Rylance, you're a great actor.
Ruffalo should have won that.
Ruffalo or Stallone should have beaten you for the best supporting actor. Spotlight. That is a movie that I don't think would make a fun.
I have the poster for it right there.
I don't think it would make a fun watch along, but I love that movie to pieces.
Yeah, I have the two Best Picture winners, back-to-back years, Spotlight and La La Land.
It might be. It's so hard because I love all The President's Men, but Spotlight might be my favorite movie about journalism.
It is my favorite movie about journalism.
I really have you seen all The President's Men?
I have.
Okay. It's just I like the more weird. Like modern. I don't want to be a journalist, but I love movies like those where it's just like this was so good.
I used to want to be a journalist, and then I realized that I didn't. True story.
I wanted to be a filmmaker, and then I realized that Probably wasn't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is why I'm on YouTube, I guess.
That's why we have Take 3.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think that a lot of that era of Marvel that we're talking early 2000s is overlooked a lot, and I don't think
it's overlooked, I think, because it's so different from
modern
the
Marvel.
MCU.
Yeah, and I'm even talking about X-Men, X2, Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2.
I think
Ghost Rider, Fantastic Four.
I think there are some people who are such big MCU fans that like anything that's not MCU is crap, and you can show them X2 and they'll be like, no, that's shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's shit. And it's like, really? Like they exist. Listen, DC fans, I'm not above it. There are people who love the Dark Knight trilogy so much that you try and show them Batman 89 and like, oh, that's crap. And you're like, really? It's just like, listen, I think Fantastic Four sucks. I think that movie.
The original Fantastic Four?
Yeah, the original. Well,
I think Silver Surfer's worse.
PCP original that was released to the public, because the true original is one from '94, which, funnily enough, is probably the most accurate to the comics. If we're being honest.
Speaking of limited release '90s Marvel, have you seen Matt Salinger's Captain America?
Yep, I've seen it. I sat through it.
It's a fun one.
It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is. There's a great video from a YouTuber I follow, Oliver Harper, where he's done video reactions with his friends to both of those, and they're the funniest thing in the world. And I think if we did probably the Matt Salinger Captain America would be a really funny watch along. It would be a funny drunk watch along if we ever wanted to do a drunk watch along to that movie, because it's so horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's available on YouTube, which is nice.
It's available on YouTube, so we can all easily acquire it.
It is also available on Blu-ray. It's a Blu-ray I haven't gotten yet because it's really hard to find. But it is in print. It is in print on Blu-ray.
It is in print, but it's also free on YouTube, which is a good thing for us. But that we really should schedule. You know what we should, before Endgame comes out, we should do a drunk watch along to the Matt Salinger Captain America. It's the ears that kill me. They took time to create fake ears when you could have easily just cut holes and put the dude's ears in.
Yeah, it's or even like how Red Skull looks in that movie.
I mean, he looks he's probably, it's actually, for the budget they had, wasn't terrible, but my favorite thing about that movie is 2 times he fakes being sick to steal a car in that movie.
He steals a car from Ned Beatty in that movie.
I can't watch that movie, which Ned Beatty is wonderful and I love him, but every time I and it's not to say that I watch a movie often, but anytime I watch like the Oliver Harper's watch on the I can't watch Ned Beatty and not be like, Otisburg?
Yeah.
Otisburg?
Otisville.
It's Otisburg.
Otisburg is in the Arkham Knight the video game.
No, it's Otis. It's Otisburg.
I think it's
in the 1978 Superman movie. It's Otisburg.
I'm gonna give it a Google.
It's Otisburg. Otisburg? It's just a little itty place. Oh, Miss Dustbucker's got a place.
All right, you win.
Okay, Rob, I love you. You were the fan champ, right?
But
you really questioned me something on the 78 Superman movie. Come on, man. I know that because that is one of my 3 favorite moments of Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor, along with, you know why the number 200 is so vitally important? Because it's your weight and my IQ.
Yeah, that's good. Is that in Superman 2 or is that in Superman 78?
Nope, Superman 78. Otis is barely in Superman 2. He helps.
He's in the prison scene just that once, isn't he? And he helps him escape in the hot air balloon.
And then when Miss Tessmacher comes with the hot air balloon, he gets trapped. He gets left behind.
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just Miss Tessmacher and Lex.
Yeah.
Boy, I love those.
I've still only seen the theatrical cut of that movie once, Superman 2.
Oh, really? I really need to sit down and just create my own ultimate version because I like the ending of the theatrical one far more than the Donner cut. I think
where he goes back in time again?
That I don't like, but also the ending. There's a scene that's not in the Donner cut where they come back and Lois is talking with Clark and she starts crying because she's talking about how she doesn't think she could deal with the fact that like she has to share him with the whole world. And it's just beautiful. It's the kiss. It's the kiss I always remember. But it's so well acted because Chris Reeves is like, no, you're not selfish. And it's just like, I think it's way better because they have the kiss in the Donner one, but it happens really quick.
Yeah.
Like it's before they even leave the Fortress of Solitude, he kisses her and it's like, listen, Donner, I think the scenes between Jor-El and Clark are better. I think also the thing in the Donner cut is what happens when Clark comes back after he's lost his powers. Jor-El gives his powers back by using the last of his energy, so there is a consequence to this, which is not in the theatrical. In the theatrical, it's kind of just like he gets his powers back, and it's like, okay. So it's, again, as a Superman fanatic of at least those first two, and I know I'm talking to myself because Rob left, as a fanatic of those movies, there is an ultimate version that is not, it just doesn't exist. So I really need to sit down and just make that one day.
I really am the worst.
It's okay, man. Thankfully I was talking about Superman, so I could have just sat there and done that. Speaking of, you made a joke, but I swear if you try to screw me on that on Sunday,
that wasn't
Chris Reeves, I'm gonna.
That wasn't a joke, man. Matt, I made a short list of 58 performances.
I don't give a.
He did not make my top 20.
If I have to use my save on Chris Reeves Superman, I will leave the stream. That's not a joke.
True. That's not true. Malcolm, okay, here's the dangerous thing.
Well, Sandy's on there too.
Yeah, most of the night is gonna be you and Sandy versus me and Cody. And I don't like to frame it that way because I don't want to make it seem like we're gonna fight and disagree the whole time.
Watching, it's one of those things where it's just interests. Me and Sandy agree on a lot, and you and Cody agree on a lot, and it's gonna be. I mean, I think we're gonna have ones where it's just like, listen, I don't think it's gonna be a shocker that Hugh Jackman as Wolverine's gonna make.
No, of course it's gonna make
list. I think there's gonna be some that are brought up that Sandy will probably agree with more, and that I'll bring up. You know, it's one of those things. It's just, which is why I'm really glad that we have the panel we do, because I think.
We have a very diverse,
interesting conversation.
Yeah, our panel is very diverse.
Because I think if it was like you and Cody and me and Malcolm, like me and Malcolm agree on stuff, but I feel like it would really be like me bringing up stuff and you couldn't be like, nah. In the same way that it was me, Sandy, Malcolm, and you, me and Sandy would probably for a lot of stuff be like, nah, Rob. So it's gonna be a fun episode for sure.
Yeah, so for those of you watching who don't know what we're talking about, this Sunday on Rankem is the top 12 best performances in superhero movies and TV, and it's superhero performances only, and
superhero live action as well, no animated. Because Malcolm wants to say, which I'm thinking is smart. I think to save it for a separate list because, like, I know some of you were a little annoyed. I honestly thought that was better because then it's crazy enough to have like to fight like which Batman we're gonna choose, but then to throw in all the animated ones as well would have just made it even crazier. Or Spider-Man. There's been so many great animated Spider-Mans to have to add that with the live action ones. I think Malcolm was very, very smart. And
I agree completely. And actually, I'm gonna work on my list right now.
ask a question someone knows. I feel like I know this actor who's playing the head of the 6 rings from somewhere, or 10 rings.
Yeah. He is in Star Trek 09.
That's it! He's the captain at the beginning of Star Trek 09. I knew him. I knew him. He's the captain of the USS Kelvin.
Yes, he is, before Chris Hemsworth takes over. Or Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, it is Chris Hemsworth. Yeah.
Yep, George Kirk.
Before George Kirk takes over the Kelvin.
Man, you guys want to have another Iron Giant watch along? Watch Star Trek 2009 with me. The fucking end of that opening with Chris Hemsworth on the intercom with his wife, and she's giving birth to. That's tears right there for me. Chris Hemsworth is so good in that.
Should we name him after your father? No, Tiberius. That's the worst. Let's name after your father. Let's
Tiberius? No, let's name it after yours. We call him Jim.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah,
he's so good in that, which is why I'm so pissed that Star Trek 4 is not happening.
Yeah.
Because when that story was brought up, I was like, oh my god. Yeah. Listen, I'm not a fan of the Kelvin timeline that much, but that first movie has a lot of stuff I love as a Star Trek fan, and there's a lot of stuff that pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
As an old school Star Trek fan.
So I'm not trying to give away too much about my rankum list, but I do have a couple questions of whether you would consider this superhero or not.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway in Batman or Dark Knight Rises. That toes the line really close.
She becomes a hero by the end, but if I was voting, I would say no, because she spends most of the movie with her own interest in mind. Sure. To me, a superhero is someone who is doing what they're doing for others. Mm-hmm. Even if they have like, and this may or may not be on my list, but like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man starts off doing Spider-Man as his own interest, but becomes a hero of the people by a certain point in the movie. Whereas Anne Hathaway, it's like literally her most heroic phase, she comes back to save Bruce. Besides that, everything else is kind of like she's helping Batman fight just in her own interest. Like, she joins the fight at the end because Bruce promises her the program.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love her. She's fantastic in that movie.
She's
scene in the bar when the cops come in and she's screaming, freaking out, and then the minute they're gone, she's like, and then she's walking on when Joseph Gordon-Levitt runs up. She's pretending like she's been hit or something. She's fantastic in that movie.
Absolutely. Well, that's why, like, I don't love that movie. I think she's the best part of that film.
I do. I'm not ashamed. I know it has problems, but I love Rises so much. Mm-hmm. It does so much. It is one of those movies where it does so much good that it outweighs the weaker parts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll say this. One of my favorite Batman moments in a movie forever will be right before the final fight with Bane, when it's, so you've come back to die with Just City.
Yeah.
No, I came back to stop you. I'm like, I remember seeing that, and that was, so you quote my brothers Ben Bateman and Andrew Guy, that was my fist bump moment, was when Bruce said that. Yeah, kick his ass, Bruce.
Yeah, definitely. So this is another one that I already know the answer to, but for my list, because I love the performance so much, but I know it technically probably shouldn't count. And that is Michael Fassbender as Eric Lyncher. Because he is a hero during almost all of First Class, and he's a hero. It
has to be just First Class, so you can't. That's a tough. First Class is my favorite X-Men movie, so you're hitting me in a very good spot. You're hitting me in a very, very good spot with that. That's a toughie, man, because he is technically heroic. I put that down as I might be a maybe to say yes if you have a good argument. If you come at me with a good argument, I might say yes.
Okay, I'm not going to bring it up on the actual night because there are better superhero.
He's great, though, dude.
He's so good.
That scene in the bar.
Blood and Honor. Which will you spill first? Yeah.
Oh, no, it's the I'm Frankenstein's monster. The way he delivers that line right before he shoots. Oh my.
You can call me Frankenstein's monster.
He's so.
No, but I am.
That.
Yeah.
Him and now his name is escaping me.
James McAvoy?
James McAvoy. They're
almost like he might be on my list.
And fucking the thing is, I love Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. I might like their versions of the characters better. I might.
I like. That's so tough.
Because problem I use, for lack of a better term, my problem with the Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart ones is the movies aren't about them. They're so established in their roles. The thing about First Class and Days of Future Past is not Apocalypse, but the thing about those first two movies is they're establishing themselves because they're young and they're just it's everything makes more sense. And I like the fact that you get to see both of the sides to where it's like you can literally be like, at the end of the movie, you'd be like, I'm on Eric's side, I'm on Charles' side. Like, you could make the argument, and it's I love
we have a very touching moment about Yinsen dying.
Oh yeah. Okay, so going back to Iron Man 2.
Yeah, Iron Man 2, yeah. Then First Class, let's go.
No, but going back to Iron Man 2, literally, so Whiplash is always talking about his dad and toys. I thought this was the first time I saw the movie. I thought this was Whiplash's dad.
Thought this was
because the art reaction was like, oh, so this is Whiplash's dad, and then I found out it wasn't. It was a completely different thing, but I was like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, that's cool. No, it's not.
No.
Yeah. That was a really fun discussion on First Class we had.
Yeah, First Class, man.
I love that movie so much. I did not know that was your favorite X-Men movie.
It is not my favorite X Universe movie. That goes to Logan, but it is my favorite X-Men movie because I feel like it is the first
X Universe,
X-Men
First
movie.
Class, Logan, very, and then X2 is like right underneath.
Yeah, I love First Class so much.
First Class, it's so especially as like a fan of the. As a fan of the Sean Connery Bond stuff, it's so much in that kind of way that I love this. That's why I think Matthew Vaughn directed that, right? He directed First Class. I think he should direct a Bond movie, and it would be much more. As a fan of classic Bond, would probably do a more classic Bond movie, which I would love so much.
I think excuse me. Going back to like the Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen versus McAvoy, Fassbender, I think McAvoy.
I mean, it's apples and oranges at the end of the day. They're both fantastic.
But like in terms of like rank them, I'll be playing my hand a little bit. I'll be foreshadowing. I think McAvoy is given more to do with the character. I think he's able to explore the character more. I think his performance is more layered because the character in his younger days is more layered. Specifically in Days of the Future Past, when he's been like taking the medication to stop his powers, when he is a broken man, I think that is much more of a layered performance than anything.
Comparing McAvoy to Patrick Stewart is very much comparing Ewan McGregor to Alec Guinness.
Yes.
Both are great. But Ewan McGregor playing him as a younger man growing into an older man, he just gets more to do than Alec Guinness ever got to do because he was already an established mentor. That's the thing. You go from having a protagonist, you go from a mentor character to a protagonist.
Shit.
That's the difference between Patrick Stewart is the mentor and James McAvoy is the protagonist.
I just took Stewart's Xavier off my list, and now I'm on my short list, and I'm putting him back on now because I thought of Logan and the scene right before he dies where he says, "That was the best sleep I've had in a long time, and I don't deserve it." And he starts weeping.
Don't start with me with that movie, man. You know what scene gets me, man? You know what scene gets me in that movie?
When Laura puts the cross to the X? Or when...
but dealing with Professor X? It's after he's spoilers. It's after he's dead.
Sorry, Logan? Jonathan Peck in the chat. Oh, Will Arnett does not come as Batman because we're only doing live action.
Yeah. It's Logan flipping out on the truck. He's held so much
after he buries Patrick Stewart.
Because I had that when I lost my grandfather. I suppressed so much that I remember being in my room beating the shit out of a door when I was alone at home because it was like I didn't have. There's this weird thing that happens when death with someone you love happens, where you suppressing, you feel like you need to be strong for them, and then once you've gone through the 5 stage, like that was my anger stage, and I think Hugh Jackman plays that so well. Fuck, I'm gonna watch Logan tomorrow night. I love that movie to pieces. That movie is so.
Matt, can we say something for rank 'em? I'm not even kidding right now. Can we put both on there?
What?
Both Stewart and McAvoy. I know that takes up 2 spots, but like both of them are so perfect. I can't,
because there's another character that I have 2 versions of that I would love to both make the rank 'em.
Good luck with that, with Cody and me.
Jesus. Especially with the first one, I think probably, but the second one is probably not. Which
like the only X characters I have. Well, that's
what the thing is like I wish we could sit here and just do our own rank 'em, but then that would just spoil our list.
That would,
because I have my list. I got it down to 12, which is usually what I do. I try to just get it down to my top 12, and I have my top 12. So
I don't.
I have my 12, and there's one that's not gonna get on there, but if he got on there, he's in my top 5, but I already know he's probably not going to make it on there. Would make me so happy, because I think I'm the sole person on the panel who's ever seen the thing that he's in.
Is it TV? Or is it a movie?
Maybe. You'll have to find out.
If it's a movie, I've probably seen it.
It's TV. It's
okay.
TV.
Then yeah.
Well, technically it's a movie. The pilot runs for 90 minutes, so it is a movie.
A TV movie.
Yeah, it's a TV movie. Hey, I wonder who the toy tie-in was for this movie. I should remember the toys for Iron Man. It's weird shit. I ate a lot of fast food when I was a kid, and most of it was based on what toys were being sold.
Jonathan Peck asks you.
Just talking about that, I went to Burger King so much the summer of 2009 to get all the Star Trek toys.
Have you
seen often? Oh, Phil Coulson.
Yeah. Have you seen Spider-Verse, Matt?
No.
Okay.
Fucking lazy as shit. All right.
You should. That's all I'm saying.
But again, just this man right here was the sole reason why I sat through an entire season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I was like, you know what? I love you, man. I'm not sitting through more of this crap. It was, that, and again, like, just thinking of, like, he stuck around for all of this stuff. I think when it comes to, like, secondary characters like that, like, the only 2 that have been recast have been Rhodey and Hawkeye. That's it.
Hawkeye was recast?
Hawkeye in Thor is in 1 scene.
Yeah, and it's Jeremy Renner.
No, it's not. Not Jeremy Renner.
I will bet you on that. It absolutely is Jeremy Renner.
Give me 1 second. I will look this up.
Yeah, he's in the scene where Thor breaks in to try to steal his hammer, and it's Jeremy Renner.
It is? Okay, let me just see. Here. You know what I could do? I can just go to Jeremy Renner's IMDb. I'm just like, that'll make it far. Just give me a second. Yeah. Thankfully, Jeremy Renner doesn't do a ton of stuff, so getting back to 2011 won't take that long.
Was that before his Bourne movie? I think
it was 2012. All right. I always thought it was someone else. I haven't seen Thor in a while. Fine, so we both know a lot of shit about fake movies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was someone else. I thought, but
I got my ranking list down to 16, and I refuse to get it any lower.
That's fine.
What I usually do is I get a top, I usually get a top 15 to 20, rank my top 5, and
I just do my top 12. Like, I order it like I was making my own rank 'em list with no one else. And then listen, I might bring up my number 12 first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just bring up, because my top 12 is like, if all these get on, I'll be happy. If a quarter of these get on, I'll be happy. If one of these gets on, I'll be happy. That's why I make my top 12. Because if I do like top 20 or something, then it's like, well, do I want to bring up this more than this? Where it's top 12, I can literally gauge like, okay, how many have I brought up on my top 5? Have I brought up my like, it kind of gauges. Listen, man, the arc reactor just ties the room together.
It sure does. Great interior design.
Man. Poor Iron Man. All I want to do now is watch Logan and Big Lebowski.
Jonathan, no, the rank 'em on Sunday is only live action movies. So even if it was an animated movie released in theaters, it's only live action movies.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Conroy for Phantasm.
Yeah.
And an animated series. Yeah, but it's movies and TV, live action only.
Yeah. I haven't seen the Spider-Verse yet. I just get
That's
around to it. I'm seeing Bumblebee on Friday, I think, depending on what time me and Sandy record Rhyme or Reason. So I'm catching up. It's driving to the movies because I don't have a local theater to me. Like, I have to drive like kind of 20 to 30 minutes out of my way. It's just like, or I could stay home and watch a movie.
Yeah.
Like, I watched Mission Impossible Fallout. I rented it. I watched it on my TV, and I was like, this is great. And my family's got a big 70-inch screen, so I'm like, stay home, not have to deal with the bullshit of people.
Not have to pay.
Drive half an hour, both ways, which ends up adding an hour on to a 2-hour movie, $11, and all this shit, and pay like movie theater prices for soda. Now listen, I love the movies. I will see Endgame in theaters. I'll see Episode 9 in theaters. There are movies that I just have to see in theaters for the theater experience. And then there's ones like Bumblebee. I can watch that one at home and be fine. I wish I would have seen. Listen, after watching Fallout, I wish I would have seen that in theaters. I wish I would have experienced that on bigger screen.
I saw that in theaters and it was fantastic.
That movie is so good, and it proves why Tom Cruise is one of the best working action stars today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lover after broke his foot. Hey, that relates back because this movie almost didn't exist. Because back in 2006, Tom Cruise was almost Iron Man. But he made one too many demands, and the New Line was like, no. And so New Line owned the rights to Iron Man. And they had like, that's one of the reasons why, what's her name isn't in Dark Knight.
Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes. That's one of the reasons why she's not in Dark Knight is because she was going to be Pepper Potts because at the time her and Cruise were married. And then just Cruise made like, he wanted the masks for you to always see his face and like all this. And it just got too far along. They didn't start production when they needed to, and the rights reverted back to Marvel, and we got this movie. So all you MCU fans can thank Tom Cruise for the MCU.
It's the same reason we can thank Mission Impossible 2 for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Again, Tom Cruise. So pretty much Tom Cruise is Marvel. So many good things have happened to Marvel movie brands.
Tom Cruise is Marvel. Confirmed.
He is a Marvel.
No,
he also doesn't age.
He
really doesn't.
No,
honestly, I would love to see Tom Cruise in a DC or Marvel movie. Like, he doesn't have to be a big role, but I think people don't give Cruise credit for being a good actor. I think he could do well in a movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
Yuck. Yeah. This part's creepy, but also, God, man, you know what? I like this movie more than I used to.
Okay.
Like,
you know what? Since you said that, I'm not gonna make the joke I was gonna make.
No, I mean, I still don't like the character.
Oh, okay. So, like, is this what? So glory hole is what is this like an arc hole? Like
Yeah, this is an arc hole.
Did she just penetrate?
Yeah, sure did.
Hey guys, welcome. I'm back to Watchalong.
Her hands are pretty wet.
It's not the only thing. You know what?
Hey.
We're not making this a Spider-Man Watchalong.
I lined it up for you, man. I was waiting for you to knock it out of the park. I set you up.
Your Spider-Man Watchalong not too long ago. Oh, I crack myself. It's your reactions that kill me to my childish antics on that. Oh my god. That movie is
all right. God. So I'm gonna say one more thing about Arkham, and then I am going
That's a lie. Me and Robert probably continually. This is the thing I love about Watchalongs is sometimes we watch a movie and other times we just have conversation movie on in the background.
Well, that's like this is the exact opposite of like the Watchalong of The Departed, where it was literally me and Cody sitting there watching The Departed.
Mm-hmm.
And like talking maybe a little bit, but like Iron Giant, this one, Spider-Man, like we just talk during the movie.
Well, Iron Giant, I don't like to talk about. Show my moment of weakness, but yeah, that's like Escape from New York is pretty much me just watching that movie intently. Armageddon was not, because Armageddon was mostly me going, Kristen, isn't this such a great movie? Which she didn't think it was, and that's why Kristen's not on Watchalongs anymore.
It's alright. Armageddon's my roommate's favorite movie.
I know, we've had conversations about this.
Yeah.
I love that damn movie.
It's long. It's too long for me. If it was short, it'd be better.
No, man. Like, I tell people this and they think I'm a crazy person. I don't feel the length of that movie.
Really?
Like, when I first saw, this is no joke, when I first saw Armageddon in high school, I'll never forget, I was like, because it got to the end of the movie, I'm watching credits like, man, I wish that movie was longer, and I checked the runtime. 2.5. I did not think it was 2.5 hours. Yeah. It zoomed by for me. But again, it's one of those things where it's just like movies like that. If they grab you, you're on the ride. 2.5 hours goes by like that, and if it doesn't grab you, 2.5 hours go by like.
Yeah, that's Lord of the Rings.
Titanic is one of those movies for me. Titanic is one of those movies where I'm just like, I'm fucking checking my watch, like. I'm, as horrible as it sounds, sorry to the deceased, I'm like, where's the fucking iceberg, man? Yeah. Where's the fucking iceberg?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. I didn't feel that. Yeah. I watched Fellowship and Two Towers in the same night.
Yeah. I have done this multiple times. I watched the extended edition of all 6 movies in one day.
I have watched the theatricals. I have not watched the extended. I'll get it maybe next year.
You should. At least of Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit, not super necessary.
I haven't not watched the Hobbit movies, and I don't plan on it because I don't want to ruin a good thing. I just got into liking the Lord of the Rings movies. I best not ruin it for myself.
That's probably fair.
Two Towers is 100% my favorite, though, if we're talking about Lord of the Rings. That movie is
it rocks.
Good. Which, it's so funny. So, the only Lord of the Rings movie that my dad owns, and he actually owns the theatrical and extended cut, is Two Towers.
Yeah.
Which is just like, it works out that my favorite one is the one that I owned on DVD, so I can watch it multiple times.
Yeah.
So happy about that. Two Towers. So good. So good. Return of the King was really, really good, too. It's just could have ended quicker. Although, I immediately, the day after I saw Return of the King again, I bought Into the West. Because insane. I listen to it all the time on the train.
Yeah.
I listened to that, and Now We Are Free from the Gladiator soundtrack, like, back to back on my phone. That song is so good. And it's so, like, it's the, because again, literally, I watched the whole trilogy in the course of 2 days. Into the West was the perfect song to end. And you get, like, I love the, like, pencil drawing pictures of all the cast, and they had Sean Bean in there because Aragorn and Boromir are my favorite Lord of the Rings characters. So I was like, yes! Boromir got in one more time.
Well, Boromir's in the extended cut.
Of 2, yeah. So that's why I'm like, I really should watch 2 because I love Boromir so much.
Well, he's in the extended cut. Well, I guess he's in like one frame of the extended cut of Return of the King as well. He's in a couple shots, yeah. Like Denethor sees visions of Boromir. Like the part where Faramir is like, you wish that our places had been exchanged. You wish that I had died and Boromir had lived. And then Denethor sees a vision of Boromir like standing right behind Faramir. And Denethor goes, "Yes, I do wish that."
Damn. I love that so much. I love Boromir so much, which a lot of people I talked to were like, really, Boromir? I was like, you know what I like about him was
he's the most tragic character. He's the most
human. He was tempted by the ring, but like his intentions were pure. Like in a very like he wanted to use the ring not for his own gain. He wanted to like he was living in a place where like literally his people were dying every day to deal with Mordor. And then the thing I love is that, and this is my thing, when he gets shot by the 3 arrows and he still is swinging, I'm like, that's a freaking hero.
Yeah.
I feel because if Boromir was really a piece of shit who wanted the ring for himself, after 1 arrow he would have given up. He did not.
Yeah.
He is so damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Aragorn are my favorite by far.
He becomes a villain for about a second, which like
But the thing I love is that the minute Frodo puts on the ring and disappears, Boromir immediately is like, he knows what he just did and he regrets it. Like, he immediately is like, oh my god, no. Like, no. I didn't mean to do that, Frodo. Like, he immediately regrets it.
Yeah. He's like, Frodo, what have I done? Or something like that.
Like, he immediately knows what he did.
Which is a very human thing. It is so human to have a moment of weakness. But you've done it. I've had them in our normal everyday lives, in relationships, in academics, in the social situations.
Aragorn has that in Return of the King. He has this moment where he's, why is his name? I'm saying Saruman, but that's not it. Sauron. All right, thanks Tolkien for having to make your villains so close in names. But he has a moment right before for Frodo where it's like you can tell there's a part of him where it's just like it might be easier to give up, but we can't. Like you see it on his face. You're like, it might be easier to give up. But, but that's why you get for Frodo because it's him taking that in, weighing the choices and going, nope, fuck that. We're doing this. Mm-hmm. Which I have seen the scene, even though it's in the. I have watched the scene on YouTube with the mouth, and it's fucking badass where he just cuts the head off.
So, and then he starts yelling at Sauron. Yeah, it's an amazing.
Dude, that speech is so good. Mm-hmm. But they may take our lives. No, that's Braveheart. What am I thinking? I confuse the Braveheart speech with the Lord of the Rings speech.
Yeah, that's
the same concept, pretty much.
Yeah, it's kind of like
it's pretty much the same,
and that's fine. We're gonna die, and that's okay.
Speaking of which, that is a crossover that would be so cool to make. Lord of the Rings and Braveheart, dude. You think you take the final battle of Braveheart? Well, the final battle with William Wallace and Braveheart and the final battle of Return of the King and supercut it to make the ultimate final battle.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking badass, man.
Yeah, dude.
Freedom!
Lord of the Rings.
See, that's another movie that I would love to do a watch along, but like,
Braveheart?
I don't get. Yeah, I love Braveheart. That's like top 60 movies for me.
Wow.
Its length, I just can't watch. Like, and I love the movie, but I don't. If I was able to devote more time to watching more, it would be in my top 50. But since I can't, and again, listen, Armageddon is also my top 60 for the same reason. Because both of them, I love them, but it is one of those I have to be like, listen, Armageddon a little bit more than Braveheart. So the weekend that we did Watchalong, I watched Armageddon on Friday and then again on Sunday. But I love Braveheart. And The Patriot. The Patriot's also really good.
I love The Patriot. I love that.
War is over, I will kill you. Now, The Patriot, that is a 4th of July watch along.
Oh,
there ever was one. Dude, I love Gibson. I don't care. He's good. He's great. Listen, and that doesn't mean that I agree with his personal politics and shit he did in the past, but as an actor and a director, I love Gibson.
Yeah, he's a good artist.
As Scott Mance once said, separate the art from the artist. But if you can't do it, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that. I get that. If you can't do it, that's fine. I have friends who hate him. I
understand.
Hate Mel Gibson, and I go, yeah, I get it. Like, I get it. I'm like, you have ample reason, but yeah.
This suit up scene is pretty damn good.
His CGI is kind of to what we get now. It's kind of shit.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't look good.
It looks so computery.
Epic. It's epic.
It looks real. Oh, it's epic. But again, you got to remember. Again, playing old man here, and I know Rob, you're like a couple years old. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Yeah, you're only a year younger than me, but you remember back in 2008, this shit was the coolest.
Oh yeah.
This was the coolest, man. We didn't really need a lot in 2008 in superhero movies.
No, we didn't. Unlike now.
We didn't ask for a lot because we didn't really. Our comparisons were like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Like from the last couple of years, there was like the X-Men trilogy, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, and a couple of standalone movies.
Yeah.
Because Dark Knight hadn't finished his trilogy, so pretty much by the time this movie came out, like we had Batman Begins, which until Dark Knight came out could be seen as just a standalone. Like that's kind of all we had. So our barometer for like this is awesome. Like I'm pretty certain that like if you, I'm pretty certain there were kids who are shown this movie before Endgame comes out, and they were like,
Yeah, we had a very skewed perspective back then.
Like, I think it'd be hard to show a kid who just saw Infinity War and show them this, and they'd be like,
Yeah, they'd be very underwhelmed.
Again, speaking of just, like, playing ahead, Paul Bettany.
Love.
Just, he's so good his voice, but he just, to think of him as Vision.
To see where that character goes from now.
Yeah, it's just like...
It's almost like watching a TV series. Like, I'm going to use the example of Game of Thrones. It's like watching Game of Thrones, rewatching it, like knowing what happens to certain characters.
I don't know. You could get into spoilers there.
Oh, I'm not gonna give specifics. Oh, okay. I'm just saying, like, Game of Thrones is a show that's known for characters dying.
Yeah.
It's like if you go back and rewatch season 1 knowing what's going to happen to all of these characters, it gives you a different perspective.
100%. And to put it into terms, I think that more of our viewers, it's like when you watch season 1 of Full House. It's nice. You look at John Stamos' mullet, and you know where his hair is going to go from there. No. You're right. It is, again, it's but I think that's the thing about the MCU is it was run far more like a TV show than it was a movie. And because of that, it is so crazy to watch these earlier movies, you know. Like,
yeah, and just to see where the story has come.
Yeah, even like I'm saying Civil War was kind of, for me, when I saw the movie and then going back and watching like First Avengers, stuff like that, I was like, man, things have changed so much.
Yeah. Civil War was the big one. Civil War was the turning point in the overarching story of the MCU. Yeah.
Civil War did what we all thought Age of Ultron was going to do. That's Civil War did, and I don't hate Age of Ultron, but it is a very like
I like it much more than most people.
It's good. Like, it's good, but like Civil War, I think it's leaps and bounds better. Story, action, everything. Like it's a better Avengers movie than Age of Ultron.
I agree.
In my opinion.
No, I agree with that. Civil War also has problems that I think a lot of people don't recognize. I didn't even realize I was wearing this shirt until today.
No.
Really, just now I'm like, oh, I'm actually wearing my Infinity War shirt.
Yes, I'm wearing my New York Rangers shirt. Speaking of which, I need to check the game to see if they're losing or not. Excuse me.
No, you're good.
Where is it, Rangers?
We're about halfway through.
Yeah, we are. I might have to leave in a little bit.
That's okay. If you need to hit the road, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Damn.
I know we're supposed to have another guest join us.
I guess it's better. Because it's better than I'm watching this than the Rangers game right now. They ain't doing so hot.
Yeah.
Fuck. Gotta hear it from my friends tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. Jarvis.
God, he looks so young. Like, I'm sorry. Rob
RDJ? Yeah.
So young in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It still is like, again, it's Harry Potter, when Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out, it was the same thing where I was like, my God, it's been 10 years since the first one came out. It's 11 years since this movie came out. And it just does not... It's so weird because it's like... Again, I say, when this movie came out, I was 11.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I went from being in middle school, elementary school, to being in college in a lifetime, but it's like, they've been just constantly there, but it feels like I've gotten older, but it's this weird thing where it's like, it's almost like
characters.
It's this, I'm trying to think of it, and I think it's because for the last 10 years, there hasn't been a time when these movies weren't out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. It's like, for me, Harry Potter Sorcerer's Stone was, I believe, the first film. It's that or Monsters Inc., depending on which one came out first. But it was one of the first movies I ever saw in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was never a point in my movie watching... silence.
Yeah.
There was never a moment in my movie watching life where, until the last one came out, that Harry Potter wasn't coming out.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it's done.
Yeah. I don't mean to... I'm going to say this for risk of being overdramatic too. Yeah. But like, life will change. Life will change when there are no longer MCU movies coming out.
Oh, 100%. Like, listen, and I tell this to people all the time. I say, listen, we're going to hit a point where comic book movies aren't coming out like they are anymore.
Yeah, we are headstrong in the bubble right now, and I don't know how long that bubble lasts.
This is what I say to people. In the 1960s, Westerns were the comic book movies.
Mm-hmm.
Westerns were coming out, and it was the biggest thing you could do was do a Western. And then it stopped. And then disaster movies in the early 70s was what you did. And eventually those stopped. And then fantasy sci-fi with, like, blockbusters like Jaws and Star Wars and Indiana Jones, that ruled. And then in the mid-90s, disaster movies took over, and then those stopped, and then comic book movies took over. Like,
I mean, yeah, there were times in the 80s and 90s where it was like cheesy action movies were everything.
That was what Hollywood made. There was, again, sword and sandals epics.
Yeah, there was an era.
That was, Ben-Hur, Cleopatra, Tenkin, Spartacus. That was those movies. Those were movies that everyone wanted to make and be a part of. And eventually with comic book movies, we're going to hit a time where we want to make something else. And I don't want something else. And the movies, no matter how big the cinematic worlds have gotten, will just leave. And they'll come back again, maybe in a different way. Like, we don't know. But there were so many people that don't know this. And again, like, I'm not trying to be mean because, listen, I know way too much shit about movies. Mm-hmm. But I tell people, I show them, I'm like, especially I go, like, look at from 95 to, like, 2001. Most movies ruling the box offices were Dante's Peak, Twister, Independence Day, Volcano, Armageddon, Deep Impact, all disaster movies.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the big movies people want to work on, that all the special effects houses were doing, all the new technologies being built, and then went away. With some disasters movies, there was, of course, an event that happened around the time that sort of shot us away from that. But again, it's just human beings as movie watchers are weird. We like a lot of stuff. We like a lot of stuff, and then we don't. Movie watching is like clothes.
Yeah.
There's shit that was worn when my parents were my age that I would not be caught dead in.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the most popular thing, and everyone was wearing it. In the same way that there's shit that me and Rob wear that when our kids are our age, they'll be like, how the hell did you wear that?
Absolutely,
like, it's just what happens. Like, it's just what happens.
It's how time works. Things evolve, things change, and that's
things
a good
evolve,
thing.
People change. Not only that, but especially with movies, things evolve, people change, and also new creative people come in and introduce something that people didn't know they wanted.
Mm-hmm. And that was Iron Man in a sense.
That was Spider-Man in 2002. Yeah. That was Iron Man and Dark Knight in 2008. People were like, "Oh my god, we want comic book movies."
Like a lot of them,
like we connected a lot. In the same way that when Independence Day came out in '96, everyone was like, "We want disaster movies." Like I always say Jaws is the movie that I to be self-promotional about a thing I've never really talked about in there. For the last couple of years on and off, I've been working on a book. It's called Summer Blockbusters, Where We've Been and Where We're Going. The whole first chapter of the book is on Jaws. And I put in a lot of research, mind you, watching a lot of documentaries on this book. Like, the whole first chapter is on Jaws because Jaws is the turning point in movies for me. It is the start point of that's where everything changed. The thing about Jaws was Steven Spielberg made a movie that was not being made by Hollywood.
And it became a phenomenon.
And he changed because he was a young director, he dropped out of film school, and he went to do something that was unlike all these well-established directors have been doing for years. It's going to happen with comic book movies. We're going to get a young director who is maybe mine and Rob's age, maybe older, maybe younger, who's going to come out in the next 10, 20 years, who's going to make a movie that's just going to hit us, and everyone's going to love. And maybe it doesn't win Oscars, and maybe it doesn't do this, but we all go, we want more movies like that. And then Hollywood will make more movies like that. And all these movies will not be made.
Which is a good thing. Tastes change, and they should.
You get stuck they should fall.
You get stuck in one place too long, things just become stagnant.
Well, that's the thing. It becomes stagnant. Listen, Sword and Sandals movies had to go away. And then we got a great movie like Gladiator that came back and brought it back. Listen, Westerns were everywhere, and then they went away, but then we still got movies like Unforgiven and 3:10 to Yuma. Like, we just, it's what happens. And
eventually we're going to get throwback superhero movies. And
eventually we will get, and people will like that. And that's good. And that I think is a good thing. And it's interesting to, again, as a studier of film, to see the trends and to see the Steve Morris on the Cinephiles podcast, which if you guys don't listen to, amazing podcast. They actually did an episode on Iron Man. I highly recommend you listen to. He talked about something in Gladiator. He was talking about evolutionarily, we have not come that far from Romans watching gladiator fights. We just haven't. Mentally, we haven't come from that. The only thing is our source of entertainment has changed from watching people in an arena kill each other. Because of that, the things that, like, we're not that weird. When people introduce new and cool stuff to us, we like that. And that's movies. In the same way that in gladiator fights, gladiator fights didn't start off with tigers and lions in the arena, but then some crazy person was like, we're going to put the gladiator in there with lion, and people were like, shit, this is cool. We want to see more of this. It's the same thing with movies. We didn't know we want cinematic universes, and then the MCU started doing it, and now
they gave it to us, and we loved it.
And now everyone's trying to, and not just DC. I mean, Star Wars is doing it, with all the books and the shows all being interconnected, and Harry Potter's doing it with the Fantastic Beasts stuff, which again, you can't blame them because this is just what we want now. This is just what we want, and in 10, 20 years, maybe we'll still want the same thing, or maybe we won't. It's all,
I mean, I can
no one knows.
Fantastic Beasts though, because I don't really like Fantastic Beasts.
I like the first one. I didn't really care for the second one. I didn't really care for the second one. I thought it was.
And we are graced by the presence of a Kiwi.
No, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the stream.
How are you?
Yeah,
We just missed a very sentimental conversation about movie watching. Me and Rob have, I think we've talked about Iron Man in bits and pieces, but we've more just been talking. We've had, honestly, I think this is the longest time I've talked to Rob.
Yeah, I agree.
Solely?
Yeah, for sure. We also spoiled Rankum.
We didn't spoil. I didn't spoil jack shit.
I may have given away.
The only spoiler I might have given was just have you ever watched Matt talk about superheroes? No shit, he's going to bring it up. That's the only spoiler I might have given. Rob over here is reading everyone's list. Not only that, Malcolm, he was trying to ask me what I would say to it.
No, I was not. I was asking. I was not asking what you would say. What I was asking.
He should lose a save because of this.
No, I was thinking you should. I was asking if you thought a performance would qualify as a superhero performance.
Rob, I'm just fucking cute.
Yeah, I know.
But seriously, he should lose his save because of this, Malcolm. I'm just saying. He hasn't been playing by the rules.
Well, I mean, everyone's lost their save now because it's no longer a thing.
Oh boy, wait, what? He's not making it. He's not making it, Matt. You're done. You're done, Matt. The save isn't a thing anymore.
Fucking stream. If he doesn't make Malcolm, you can easily tell the person I'm talking about. I didn't know saves weren't a thing, honestly. I sadly haven't watched Rankum. This new season. That's on me. Apologies. If he doesn't make it, I'm leaving the stream. No.
And you'll be back in 2 minutes.
No. If he doesn't make the top 12 live action superheroes
performances, I don't think he is in top 12.
Are you fucking I will leave the stream. Like, I will leave this stream right now.
All right, I'm gonna go. Actually, I'll let you two lovebirds take it for 1 second. I'm gonna go.
Rob, don't exit out again.
No, I won't. I'm gonna go through the drink. Yeah, I've exited out of the stream twice.
Like twice.
All right, I will be right back.
So, what is the time code we're at?
Shit. Okay. We are at. Okay, in. What is it? Hold on, just give me 1 sec. We're gonna be at 1:20 in about 30 seconds. An hour 19. I'm sorry, an hour 20. We'll be at an hour 20 and something just popped up. An hour 20 in less than 30 seconds. An hour 19:40. An hour 19:50. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, an hour 20. Are you caught up with us, or do you need?
I'm just setting it to an hour 20 and 10 because.
Okay, well, we're past an hour and 20, so you're gonna have to go to an hour and 21.
Hour 21.
Okay.
And Matt will tell you
in 30 seconds. I'll count you down starting with 50, Malcolm. $51, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, an hour 21. I'm still pissed about this. If he doesn't make that list, I'm legitimately leaving that stream.
Well,
all of you.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, there's a good chance Henry Cavill might make the list.
We're not talking about Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill won't make the list. You're right.
I'm just, you know what? You'll say this.
Malcolm's gonna have to be your deciding vote. And I'm not saying to like be an asshole. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just like there are a lot of performances.
That's fine, Rob. It's okay. We're all gonna share.
Well, you're not gonna put Dominic Monaghan from X-Men Origins Wolverine on there, like?
No, Rob. It's fine. I can't wait to see your list and to see the things you bring up. I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun.
I mean, no joke. Even though the movie's bad, I may Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern might come up.
Wow, really?
Really?
Well, it's not about the movie; it's about the portrayal, and I do think Ryan Reynolds' portrayal as Green Lantern is good.
Hey, Malcolm, you do you, sir. If fucking Ryan Reynolds gets on that list and the dude I'm talking about does, I'm gonna fucking break something on stream and then leave it.
I have not
seen the Green Lantern movie in a very long time, if I'm being honest.
I don't know how it took you guys. Sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, Matt might know what I'm talking about, but there's a certain TV character which I'm going to bring up, which I really will be disappointed if he doesn't make the list.
Look, the fact that we're only talking about
a certain TV show character that I'm bringing up, that I'd be pretty upset if he didn't make the list, especially since he didn't make another list that I was on.
There are like 60 plus that I have written down on my initial shortlist. Like the fact that you guys had trouble getting to like 20 baffles me.
I mean, I didn't have trouble. It's for me, it's like I was just sort of being sort of picky and choosy sort of on what I write down. I mean, like if something brings up that I didn't think about, I will still say yes to it. It's not like
I have a couple kind of batshit picks that are a little bit off the wall, a little bit out of the box, but I don't know. I think they're good.
Oh God! If you didn't make the list, I fucking will hate all of you, and Rankum may not exist on this channel anymore. I will ensure that. And I will never be on streams with any of you people again. That's for certain.
I mean, you say that now.
No, Malcolm. There are, as Patrick Stewart, as Jean-Luc Picard said in First Contact, the line must be drawn here, this far, no further. I got my line. I'm making this my line. For all of you.
You know, at this point, I'm just going to say no to piss you off.
You know what? Fuck you, Rob.
I'm kidding.
I think I thought you were a good guy, had fun talking to you this whole time. Turns out you're just an asshole.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, Malcolm, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Matt. Not saying this person's on my list. This person was on my short list, but I did not know literally if they would qualify for the list.
Danny DeVito and Hercules.
No.
Get it? It's short.
Yeah. Funny. Would this character qualify? Michael Fassbender's Eric Lencher.
I mean, but it's a
in first class.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Magneto's always that interesting one in which he's never truly a hero. He's never truly a villain in the movies.
He's very much a villain in the original X-Men trilogy.
He's not a villain. He tried to murder a teenage girl in the first movie.
In X2, maybe not, but in X-Men and X-Men: The Last Stand,
1 and 3, he is
absolutely the villain.
He's a villain.
But he toes the line much more in First Class and
Days
of Future.
You can hear me and Rob talk all about Magneto, amongst his other great things in 2000's X-Men on the Movie Fandom Show episode we did on X-Men.
We did, didn't we?
Check it out. It's on the playlist on the channel right now.
I mean, I'm not going to stop you bringing him up. I'll leave that up to the other people on the panel to see.
I think
I didn't realize the first. Wow.
Okay. The thing about this ranking episode is because there's so many choices, this list is gonna fill up really quickly.
Not only there's so many choices, but also Malcolm, you're gonna be the coin toss because you have a stream where it's me and Sandy pretty much versus Rob and Cody.
Yeah.
Like it's decided just out of things we like. You poor person are gonna be the deciding.
Not like we're personally aggressive toward each other, but like our tastes. Mine and Cody
is just like 98% of our choices. Like
our tastes,
98% of our tastes are similar to where even if I don't have something on my list, if Sam brings out, will like, oh my god, why wasn't it on my list? Vice versa, where I'm sure I'll have something that Sandy and Figure but it was like, yeah, no, that should be on here.
Here's a question that somebody from Multiplex has. Question for the panel: when Robert Downey Jr. leaves the MCU, do they go right to Ironheart or transition for a film or two with Rhodey taking his mantle?
I think, yes. I think they're going to take a break on the Iron Man stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
A bit. I think you leave, like, if Rhodey makes it out, I think you have him in the Avengers stuff, but I think...
That's a mad if, too.
Yeah, it's a big if. It really it depends on how Endgame ends. Like, that is the thing. It's hard to say. If we're saying Rhodey lives, I say, yeah, don't go straight into... You need to... Listen, you need to let us sit. Like, let us sit.
Oh, it's Brooklyn.
You throw us another Iron Man.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think we need Rhodey to take the mantle. He can still be his own thing as either War Machine or because I mean,
War Machine.
Yeah, so I mean, like, and I mean, honestly, I think Ironheart is still a fairly recent character to bring in because they haven't really sort of established that there is a character. I mean, the only character which is probably similar to the character that is Ironheart in the comics is probably Shuri, but I do think that eventually she might become Black Panther. So.
See, I don't really read Marvel stuff now, so to be perfectly honest, I don't even know who Ironheart is. Gonna be honest, don't really know who Ironheart is.
Yeah, no, it's kind of it's a female version of Iron Man. It's basically this girl called Riri.
I think I heard about people like lost their shit because they were like, "Oh my god, guys, a girl's Iron Man. What is this?"
Yeah.
What?
And
next?
by the way, Multiplex is Brooklyn.
Yeah, I saw.
What next, guys? Are we gonna get a woman as Captain Marvel? We are. Oh my god, what's wrong with society?
You heard it here first. Matt hates women.
Right? Why you gotta be like that? Like you're doing a voice of an ass. You know
man, that was a.
Fuck you, Rob.
I mean, bye, Christopher Reeve. I have leverage.
It's right. Bye, every MCU actor.
I actually have a surprisingly few number on my final list.
Bye, every Rob pick.
What, you're gonna say no to Tom Hardy and Venom? Oh no.
Oh god. Oh, hey Brooklyn. Why aren't you on stream with us? Do you not like us?
Brooklyn, do you want to get in on the stream?
Yeah, Brooklyn, what the like that always perplexes me. Like, and I know I've been in chats a couple times, but that's usually because I can't like be on stream.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I didn't hold up. I don't think he has the link.
You know what? Screw you. And we're just blocking Multiplex. Because I have the power.
Hey, everybody watching this in the future, you can send all death threats to @MultiplexYT on Twitter.
Yeah. You can also send all death threats to
I mean, Brooklyn,
no
if you
one?
want... if you want in on the thing, Robert can send you the link.
We can send you that link, dog.
I'm putting it in
Don't put it in the Take 3 chat because Abe will join the stream.
I'm
not sure if you want that or not, but that will happen.
I sent it to him personally already.
Because I was gonna. Oh, you sent it to Abe? Or
Yeah, I sent it to Abe personally, and he didn't join.
really? I'm
He's the first
by that.
he was the first person to comment in the chat, and he's like, "Why didn't I get the invite?"
That's what I'm saying. I'm shocked, and I love Abe. And one of my favorite things is when he does stuff like that. That's why I'm shocked he didn't hop on. Dude, he was the funniest part of the Tango and Cash watch along. Like,
I mean, if you watched Formula One earlier, you know there's going to be times
in guy on TV that looks just like you. Hey,
Matthew, insert middle name Kurds. How dare you say that you hate women?
Excuse me. I didn't say jack shit.
You're the person who wanted to take off Vinny and Uncle Marty for the reasons of I don't want people at work to see this, and you're bashing on about women in Captain Marvel.
This right here, guys. This is the not fun part of Take 3, which is we get these for lack of better terminology, these multiplexers with their egos because of their trivia and everything. They come over to my house. And
you realize that I'm originally Take 3.
He was Take 3 before he was multiplex.
I was Take 3 before multiplex.
I know, and I don't care. I don't care. You guys like you're running all your trivia leagues and you think you're better. You can just have this misinformation on me. You know what? That's just insulting.
It's right, Matt. We might just have to go to multiplex and beat the shit out of Komodo dragons.
That's true.
You see, Matt, here's the thing.
You know what? Brooklyn.
Sorry, have to take a drink every time I hear that now. So.
Oh, that's so funny. Hey, Brooklyn, can you come up with a new joke, or do you just run the same material over and over again, Carrot Top?
At least Carrot Top is like improvisational with props.
Yes, unlike you. So screw you, Brooklyn.
Because how often do I have props? I mean, like I have like a little mushroom here. I can try and like improvise off of that.
You know what?
Brooklyn's gonna improvise on mushrooms. That's not a good idea.
maybe if Matt.
Matt, how do you have power to do that? By the way,
because of me.
He has the power.
I thought only.
No, apparently not.
Maybe if Matt ate this mushroom, he could get as tall as me. Maybe I don't know.
Ooh. So everyone heard it here first. Brooklyn condones eating mushrooms. Doing drugs.
Because mushrooms are tasty. You have your portobellos, your creminis, your shiitakes. Oyster mushrooms are really tasty. Chanterelles are expensive as fuck.
Take some drugs. You heard it here first from Brooklyn on multiplex.
Yes, because eating plastic in the shape of a mushroom from a video game is like all the rave of the day.
Also, how tall are you?
Hey Robert. I'm gonna go for a flight here down to Wisconsin. I really want those mushrooms. Yeah. Could you
I am wondering
could you get me those mushrooms?
So then after that, how tall are you? I'm just
I am 6'3".
And me too.
Yeah. But what my advantages in height, my disadvantages in weight, which I will not reveal on live stream.
I don't even know what my weight is.
I mean, back to talking about the movie.
Shut up, Malcolm. Jeff, we're fighting over shit that's not important.
This is important bullshit.
This is important bullshit, random scientist. Why aren't you smarter than the billionaire?
Tony Stark built this in a cave.
I saw the movie, actually. He didn't. Some other guy. Shut the hell up.
Man, you know what would be a dick move in the spelling bee? If somebody got somebody to spell Obadiah.
What?
Like Obadiah must be a word in the dictionary.
Yeah.
Or it must or the more important thing, it must be it's probably legal in Scrabble.
Obadiah's gonna kill.
I mean, a lot of people underrate Jeff as villain, but I think his him as villain is pretty good casting.
It's good casting. My problem, which I said earlier, is this starts off the trope of
just watch me and Rob in a
villain
full conversation about Obadiah Stane at the beginning of this. You could just refer to that.
I like the casting. I like Jeff Bridges. I like what he does with the character.
It's just the writing.
I don't like how it sets up the trope of every Marvel villain being a carbon copy of the hero in that movie. That happens a lot. It happens in this movie. To an extent, it happens in Iron Man 2 because he puts on another Iron Man suit.
It happens
in Thor.
It happens in Thor.
It happens in Captain America: First Avenger. It happens a lot throughout the core. It happens to an extent in Doctor Strange.
It happens in Ant-Man.
Ant-Man for sure. I just think that trope is very overused, and it puts Marvel back.
I mean, I see your point, but I think it's one of those ones in which, like, I think they are going for some of the well-known villains from the comics, which unfortunately a lot of Iron Man's villains in the comics is a carbon copy of Iron Man. There's actually a lot that like that. But I think it's one of those ones that it doesn't mind me too much.
This one doesn't bother me. I think actually this is one of the better, like, more well done copies, like with a villainous copy here. I think this is more well done than some of the other ones, but that doesn't excuse that it starts.
Listen, that's like saying that.
Again, Christopher Reeve is like a good actor in the Superman movies. Like, sorry, Matt. I take it back, Matt. I really do. I'm sorry.
Never mind. I had a funny joke to lighten the mood, but you just went for the Lobo. That's okay. That's fine.
You would have done the same thing, bud.
No, I wouldn't know. No, I wouldn't know. That's the thing.
So, question pour vous.
What?
Question pour vous.
Yeah. What's up, Brooklyn?
Question. So, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I'm currently writing questions for my bar trivia at work. Do you guys? I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me if this is too hard.
Okay. I don't know shit about horror movies. Let me just set that up. Unless
it's not horror movies.
Oh, I thought you said you were writing horror movie questions.
I was writing movie questions for my bar trivia at work.
Oh, why did
it's general entertainment trivia, and nobody that goes to these watches the shit. So yeah.
Okay.
What 1999 comedy features actors like John Cleese, Rowan Atkinson, and John Lovitz in a race from Los Angeles to New Mexico?
Around the World in 80 Days. I have no clue.
It's Rat Race.
Yes, it's Rat Race.
I've never heard of that movie.
I love that.
Really? Oh, Rat Race is fucking awesome.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It's like a huge ensemble one. It's like Rowan Atkinson, John Cleese, John Lovitz, Amy Smart, Breckin Meyer, Seth Green, Ike Barowitz.
I got that from the question that Rowan Atkinson, John Cleese, that they're all in the movie. It started a lot of actors that I like, so I'll add it to the list.
I'll add it to my list of movies to bring up for future watch-alongs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll add it. Yeah. Aww. Okay. What's the next question, or is that the only one?
I have a These are all like pretty straightforward.
Hey guys, welcome to training trivia.
By the way, Brooklyn, at my pub trivia, I had this question. Got to Be There is the debut solo album for which artist?
Gotta Be There is Madonna.
Michael Jackson.
Oh my God, Brooklyn got it.
This is my official announcement of retiring for Jukebox Trivia.
Ironically, Brooklyn, I wouldn't have got it if I wasn't helping you write the Michael Jackson Iron Man.
Fair enough.
I'm pretty sure you had that into question.
I'm not asking this How I Met Your Mother question because I know Malcolm and Robert know it.
Ask it anyways.
Oh, who plays Barney in How I Met Your Mother?
Oh.
What's his name? It's like John Stanton. It's Neil Patrick Harris. Like,
It is.
who's that?
Yeah, it's Neil Patrick Harris.
Were you trying to think of Josh Radnor?
No, I knew it right off the bat. I was just.
Oh, you were just asking. Okay.
What consumer product has had celebrity spokesmen like Michael Jackson and Britney Spears?
Pepsi.
For a follow-up question,
that Britney Spears Pepsi commercial from the year. I remember that. Remember Britney Spears was hot. I don't remember.
Wow.
Jonathan Peck asked in the chat, "Who's the better Chris, Pine, Pratt, Evans, or Hemsworth?"
that is Hemsworth.
It is Hemsworth.
Yeah, I'm disappointed he didn't bring up the actual better Chris, and that's the one we've been fighting about most of the thing.
That's true. Chris Reeves overall is best. But out of those, yeah, it's Pratt. Chris Maloney is also a good Chris. It's pretty good. I love Law and Order SVU, so.
I mean, Chris Clark's a pretty good Chris.
Yeah, is he, guys? I don't know. Nah, we love Chris Clark.
Most days. Just kidding, Chris. That was a joke.
Oh my god, Rob.
That was a joke.
The more his stream goes on, the more I'm like, Rob's kind of an ass. Like, Rob's pretty quiet in Take 3 chats. Like, he's very like, man, he's kind of an asshole. Okay.
That's my type of comedy. Is like,
Oh.
it is though. It is.
Should have seen him on Formidable 5 earlier.
Oh my god, yeah. I was not nice on that stream.
I'm not, like, now meeting this Rob, I'm not looking forward to rank him on Sunday.
I think honestly, I think part of this Cody is rubbing off on me a little bit.
You think? God.
Really? Cody rubbing off on you? No.
Yeah, and exactly the way you're thinking too. Exactly the dirty way that your mind went. That he is rubbing off all over.
All right, I have to go. I just wanted to pop in and say hi.
Oh.
But yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @therealBK10. That's all I'm gonna plug.
Number, not the word.
It's like, damn. I was hoping he was doing those plugs. I wanted to mute him. I don't know how I can mute.
Yeah, I don't know why you have that ability.
Like, I know you can mute. I think it's just a fuck up in the because I know you can mute people for yourself, but not for the whole stream.
Malcolm, can you do it?
I can do it. I think it might be because we've all got access to the Take 3 account. So
maybe.
I'm on my personal account,
but we're not logged in on it. Yeah.
So am I. But I mean, I think it might be a case of because
it might be because we're all. Maybe it's I don't fucking know. Maybe it's just something we just. I mean, I've never tried to mute anyone on streams, and maybe it's just that. Maybe we've always been able to do it, and we just didn't know. I don't know. That was fun. I'm just learning that people I thought were my friends are just very mean to me.
Matt, I think you're an incredible person. You're incredibly strong, and you've gone through a rough lot in life.
That's a lie.
But I value your friendship. And yours too.
Bring back Timeless.
Okay. I swore you were literally about to say bring back Vinny. I was like, fuck you. How come? He's not coming back.
What about Vin Diesel? Is he coming back?
Who?
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel? That's possible.
I mean, it's all about family.
That's a question for Kristen. We are his family now. That's a question
we're his family now.
Yeah. You know what? Oh my god, guys. Oh my god.
Hey guys, it's Vin Diesel. I heard you all talking about family. What are you all doing right now?
We're hanging out with family. You know, Matt, I may have never met him in person. I've only talked to him over the internet, but honestly, he feels like family.
You know what? I never met Dwayne Johnson until the set of Fast 5, but he was my family. I've only broken into Matt Kearns' house to do fantasy updates, but he's my family. These people in this car, they're family. They're in a car, just like the car I'm driving, in Fate of the Furious, which is available on Blu-ray, DVD, and in some backwoods countries on Betamax and VHS. I love my family. I will be back on Take 3 programs. Follow me at Vin Diesel on social media. Peace out, family.
Bob?
All right, Vin, that's okay. Vin, you don't need to peel out when you leave my drive. You fucking dick. Peels out every time and wakes up my neighbors, and then I'm getting calls, and I'm like, "It's Vin Diesel." And they're like, "Yeah, I'm fucking sure it's Vin Diesel, Matt."
Does he just like mess up all your yard every single time?
Every fucking time.
Yes.
Every fancy update.
I mean, talking about Fate of the Furious, they've just put it onto Netflix New Zealand, so
I've talking about Furious. I've never seen a single Fast and Furious movie.
but yet they haven't put 6 and 7 on there, so which is odd. But there's the first 5, then you skip to 6 and 7, and you go to 8.
I'm sorry, they skipped the one with Kurt Russell in it. Fuck Australia.
Yeah, they did.
Doing Netflix. What the?
Speaking of Kurt Russell, do you think his performance in Sky High warrants him being brought up on the ranking?
Oh my god, I didn't think about that. My top 5 just changed.
I mean, they're superheroes. So,
the commander is a character.
I mean, whether or not they go on because Caleb Caraho isn't going to be on it to get him on, but
wait,
no, he's not going to be on.
He's not going to be on, but Matt,
I was just saying that you're welcome for the idea.
I might bring that up like towards the tail end when it's like just for fun.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna be like the great spirit.
He was on my list of 58.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love Sky High. That movie is so fun, and it's so upsetting when I found out originally there was supposed to be a TV show.
Oh, that would have been so good.
No, the original plan Disney had was they were going to release the movie, and then there was going to be a show with all the actors. Kurt Russell probably wouldn't have stuck around, but like all the actors would have been in the show. Mm. But the movie didn't do enough business at the box office for them to think that a show would be profitable, which is why we didn't get a Sky High show.
I mean, with the new Disney streaming service, maybe they might resurrect it and we might either get a Sky High 2 or they'll actually do it for the streaming service.
I wouldn't want it because it would literally be at this point, it'd be like, Danielle Panabaker's, she's already doing Flash. Like, who would come back? And it's like, they're not teenagers anymore, so it would have to be their kids. And it's like, at that point, what's even the purpose?
I mean, it depends on how they want to go about the sequel, because they might, because I mean, with being called Sky High, they might like people like Kurt, the teachers and stuff. You can get them back easily. They might get like a new bunch of like
but at that point, it's just like, I don't, not to be mean, but I just like, I wouldn't give a shit. Like, I'd be like, because that was the thing. I love that cast. That cast is great.
Fantastic.
Linda Cardellini, Bruce Campbell, Kurt Russell. That's just the adults. I think the kids, even though they were all pretty unknown, I thought they were all really good.
Even Mary Elizabeth Winstead as
she's great. She's great, and that whole cast. That's such a fun movie. Like, that's such a I watched that movie in years, but
it's been a while since I've seen it too.
Yeah. But then again, I did watch Trooper by the dozen years, and I watched it recently, and that was just as good as I remember it. So it's entirely possible Sky High is still as good.
Anyway, talking about Marvel villains, I came across some fact that there's an interesting alternate casting, but if Michael Keaton never signed on to play the Vulture, it would have been Mark Hamill being the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that.
It wouldn't have worked.
I mean, I love so good.
I love Mark Hamill to pieces, but it's one of those things where it's just like, he could do it. He's a great actor, but it's just like Michael Keaton. I've seen it. He's so good that it's like I don't even want to think. You know.
I mean, it's one of those ones on which, like when I saw it, it's like I would be interested to see how they were going, how different it'd be if he was in the role. But I mean, I agree with you. I don't know if it would have worked, but yeah. That, I mean, that's not to say I don't love Michael Keaton, because I actually do like Keaton as Vulture as well. So
I just think that scene in the car would be like not nearly as good. Was that Obi-Wan?
it is. You can enter the Star Wars League too of it.
Have you ever seen the How It Should Have Ended for Iron Man?
No.
So I don't even want to ruin it. It's just look it up after this. It's super funny. They make total, but it's.
I didn't know that, but the person who directed Sky High is actually directing Lego Movie 2.
Interesting.
That is really interesting.
And I mean, Jonathan Peake also says that if they do a sequel, he wants it to be called Sky Reunion.
That'd be good. I mean, that's a good title at least.
And I mean, cool guy. Like, I don't know how good Lego Movie 2 is. I haven't seen it, but there's a good chance it probably will be snubbed at the Oscars, considering Lego Batman in the first one did not get nominated either. So,
yeah, I mean, the problem is that Lego Movie 2 just came out, or is coming out. Like, we have a whole year to see what else is going to be out there.
because I mean, we've got Toy Story 4, which is most likely being nominated, because one Pixar and two, I think there's another Pixar movie out this year as well. I think it's an original one.
Really?
Yeah, because then I don't think it's got a title, but I think it's got Chris Pratt as one of the voices in it.
There's a Leica movie coming out this year. I didn't know that there was another Pixar besides Toy Story.
Oh no, the one I was thinking about is coming out next year.
Mm-hmm.
It's Onward.
I've heard about that.
Ooh.
Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division.
So you mean? Oh, that's like, yeah, it's like the David Hasselhoff movie from the '90s. That's right, Shield. Okay, I remember that. Okay. Never forget David Hasselhoff was the first Nick Fury. Never forget. So funny. I honestly don't care about any of this crap. Like, Pepper and Tony are so fascinating that, like, I don't really care about their relationship ever.
Yeah.
Yet, it's Tony's commitment in moments like when he's trying to call her when he's flying the missile in Avengers, or the first Endgame trailer, where I'm like,
do you think that if Tony Stark
Pepper
doesn't
Potts as
die,
Snoke?
and
Yes, 100%.
no, if Tony Stark doesn't die in Endgame, that we get his and Pepper's wedding at the very end of the movie?
Probably, if he doesn't die, I would think.
Because I mean, considering that they've been building up to it, like with Homecoming, as when Tony proposes, then they talk about their wedding in Infinity War.
Yeah.
It would make
You
sense.
could even see, if Pepper still is alive, you could see something like Pepper and Tony having like a rushed marriage before like the final battle or something. Like you could see something like that, kind of like Independence Day with Will Smith and Vivica A. Fox. Ah, he said it. He said it. Well, I'm gonna have to head out, so
Right.
I sadly don't have time to wait for the post-credit scene.
I honestly don't think I do either, and I know that kind of sucks.
I mean, guys, we've seen it
we've
multiple
seen it
times.
a
Oh
dozen
my god,
times.
Nick Fury's talking about Avengers back in 2008.
I
We
need
were
to
all
talk
like,
to you about the Avengers Initiative.
I'm sure.
We got it.
I'm sure that they're gonna make that movie, and then they did, and we're 10 years later, and they're about to finish that story.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So yeah, I'm gonna take just a second to wrap it up here. Matt, Malcolm, thank you so much for joining me. It was a great conversation with both of you. This was definitely one of the ones where we just talked and enjoyed the movie in the background, which, some watch-alongs are like that. You never really know. It's a toss-up. So I really enjoy this movie, and thank you to both for joining me. Hopefully you'll be much more frequent guests on watch-alongs in the future, and make sure you take a look out on the Take 3 Productions Facebook page, where we will announce very soon what next week's watch-along will be, hopefully at a more consistent time. Again, every Wednesday night, usually around 8 p.m. Eastern, are the weekly watch-alongs. So for Matt, for Malcolm, for myself, for everybody else at Take 3 Productions, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.